Everybody hear that? The smooth sounds of the Tip Beach podcast entering your domain as we're just cruising on this ride. Today we got some few things to talk about. We're gonna go a little bit on the conspiratorial side. Talk a little UFOs here and there. We're riding, we're cruising though. This is what it's all about. As you can see, I got the shades. If you ain't vibing, you ain't vibing, baby. That's how I say it. We're here in the building again. Tip Beach podcast coming at you full force. And as always, I got my boy Brett here in the virtual studio. And of course, me, Eduardo. Don't really have to say it, but I love saying it. And we're back. So
that's right.
Here we are, man. New day, new us. New day, new episode. You know how we be. But yeah, man. How are you today, though?
Oh, I'm in the asylum.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, it looks like you're fading out over there like the Matrix. Like you're I don't know. You're about to be.
I'm gonna blame that on Comcast. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that one on Comcast. But
dude,
got my identity bracelet. But they did say that while I was in the loony bin that they could that I could carry all the posters of my family. So that's what they let me have.
Dude, so. That is so sick. So as you can tell, I'll describe a little bit about those lovely pictures you got in the back there, just because they tell the story of evolution, and evolution meaning in regards to the podcast. Of course, we're trying to replicate the infamous on the picture from where I'm looking at it to our left there. We see the infamous us replicating the infamous picture of the 96 dynamic fucking powerhouse, what we used to call Death Row Records. We got Snoop Dogg, Pac, Shook, and Dre, right?
That's
They're
right.
not versions though. Us replicating them. Just paying praise to the music back in the days. We're huge fans of that era, 96 and all that. Before everybody got capped. R.I.P. to the homies though. Their legacy will live on.
Too soon?
Too soon? No. I don't have Hennessy or anything like that. I gotta pour a little bit of water.
God damn.
And of course we got the logo right there with me and my boy being replicated on that Tip Beach podcast logo. And then shout out to Miguel, Mind and Soul, for actually creating that piece on the far right.
The creation
of what the Tip Beach podcast us. Brett and I reaching for the mic, letting magic happen. That's where it all goes down. And this is what it created right here. So
now I'm in
a little bit of
now I'm in the padded room drinking some brew, talking to who.
Yeah, man. So but first things first, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Yeah. Feeling rested. How about
Medicated?
yourself? Yeah,
No, I'm doing good, man. Not too shabby.
I love those shades.
Yeah, dude, I know, right? Oh man, I gotta say, man, I am fairly impressed. Build quality. I mean, if I'm gonna get a quick review, regardless, we're not being paid for it yet. I'll say that. Putting it into the universe that we will get sponsors and from Pitt maybe, who knows? But I like them. No, good quality sunglasses. I've always wanted a pair of these, but like I said, I didn't know back in the days which ones were the legitimate ones, because obviously you have the knockoffs and all that. You see those little shops in the middle of the mall when you used to go to the mall before Amazon fucking killed them all. You would see them, but I wouldn't know if those were the real deal. I mean, I could have got probably the little knockoff ones, but
for $30,
yeah.
But then how would you feel about yourself?
I know. I don't know. I probably couldn't live with myself. I probably wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror.
You'd be in a room like mine.
Oh, dude, I know, right? But dude, yours are sweet too. You changed it up a bit. What are those ones that you have on your face?
Oh, these ones are called the Grand Prix. I think they call it the Slipstream or something crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah, man. Yeah, these are pretty good. But these ones I just wanted for the pod. But the ones I wore on the last episode was the one that, I definitely I rock those everywhere.
Yeah.
And I let people know that, hey, I'm here and I am here to stay, That's just how it goes down.
So I saw them that you carry them in your little fanny pack there, and I couldn't do the fanny pack. I actually had to buy a little satchel bag, because I do carry some stuff with me sometimes, and it's I don't like my pockets being super bulky.
Yeah.
So I had to buy an over the shoulder little small Nike bag just
Sure.
to carry the essentials and whatever. Maybe the deuce when time comes. You know what I'm saying? Because you always want to.
Oh
Stay
yeah.
strapped.
Yeah, I got my heat right there.
Ooh.
It always stays close.
Yes. I love it. In the
We living in some
asylum
crazy
too. That's
times,
fucking
bro. Oh
gangster,
yeah, oh
dude.
yeah. They let me have a lot of stuff in here. I'm surprised, man.
The
You know?
podcast studio, the pictures, the heater.
It's almost
Mm,
like they want me to be crazy, you know?
I know, right,
Hey,
man?
I do have a quick story to share about my neighbor.
Okay, okay,
Um,
let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's start it off with that one. Let's
so
get
so
into it.
I'm rocking these shades, right?
Yeah.
And I figured I had to run outside. I had to go to bed one day. I'm like, man, I gotta wake up early the next day. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make no eye contact with any of my neighbors. I'm just gonna go
Mm.
outside with the glasses, and I was just wearing a wife beater and some shorts. And so I'm like thinking, man, ain't nobody gonna talk to me in this get up, right? So I get out there, and all of a sudden I hear, hey, Brett, hey, Brett. I look across the street, it's my neighbor. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on, man? What's happening? And he's just like, oh, hey, I want to show you something, and he's kind of like stumbling across the street,
Was he
holding his
drunk?
beer. And this is probably like his 16th Bud Light. And so all of a sudden, he's reaching in his track pants and he pulls out the Nina, and
Oh shit! You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
I'm like
whoa.
in the wife beater in these shades, and I'm like, whoa, what's happening, partner? And he's like, oh no, I just wanted to show you my new gun. And he's like, don't worry, it's not loaded. He's just like waving this thing everywhere,
What the fuck?
I'm like, holy smokes, man. So, of course I take it from his hand, and I'm aiming with it. I'm looking at him like, oh man, that's a nice piece, Glock.
Yeah.
And can't be mad at that. And and I support my brothers in arms. So
Yeah.
even if they
No
are a
doubt.
little tipsy,
Especially if
but
you're waving it around like that, It's
but
like,
to
whoa,
his
whoa, whoa.
word, I did. I racked the slide, looked down. It was, I could see light at the end of the tunnel. There was nothing in the chamber. He didn't bring the clip with him, or if it was still deeper down the track pants. But
Yeah.
so we're talking, right? And he's looking and he's just like, definitely drunk. And he goes, hey man, can you take those glasses off and just look me in the eye?
Whoa.
He goes, those are intimidating. And I start laughing. I go, dude, you're the one that came over to my place waving a gun. And that's the intimidating thing right there.
Yeah.
That's what's intimidating. So I'm laughing. We both had a laugh, but yeah, that's just kind of how it goes down in my parts, So anyway,
Yeah.
like I said, I keep the Nina close. You can never be too careful these days.
Oh yeah, no, it's like I said, that was a little sus at first. It almost catches you off guard to where like you must want to draw your weapon like at a fucking reaction, like whoa, 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 let's not go there.
Yeah, I'm like, man,
I wouldn't blame you?
do I gotta bring the strap even when I gotta go out to my car for a quick run or what? What's going on? What's happening?
A quick sig.
No, I got plenty of popo living in this neighborhood. I got some tribal cops to live here. I got some sheriff. I got some city cops.
Huh?
Oh yeah, dude. I got all the blue surrounded.
Nice.
So and everybody's got those cameras. We all got cameras.
Yeah.
So whatever goes down, whatever starts popping, it's all caught on tape. You'll see it on World Star or TMZ or whatever.
Whatever those outlets are
coming to a phone near you.
That's how it is though nowadays, man.
That's what's
Shit.
up.
Fucking things leak so quick, man. The power of the internet. But then that's crazy. No, it would have caught me off guard for sure too, though. It's like, especially nowadays, you almost kind of, I don't know. For me, I'm always more just cautious about my surroundings as of just lately in general. And especially out at night, especially when, wife sends me out to go get some stuff at the store and it's, nighttime, or even like in the middle of the night, I'll go out, whatever. Like it'll be rare. I mean, this was before, not right now, but like, go to Walmart or something, get something I need or whatever. And you always kind of just want to be a little cautious, just make sure you look, left or right. So I don't know, but that's just how it is. I mean, like I said, it's just crazy nowadays.
Times are changing, man. There's too many people on antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs, and
yes, sir.
they miss a dose and you don't know what can happen.
Yeah, things went up too hot, as I guess you can say, right?
Hey, you can thank Big Pharma for that.
um, so I looked at on the socials, and it looks like you had a little family trip out to the reptile zoo, and the first thing that caught my attention was, now I don't know, I guess from the picture, from what I saw, I'm like, his daughter's standing pretty close to that little alligator or whatever it was. And it's like he would do something like that though. Like, hold on, let me take a picture of this real quick.
Hey, yo, get closer to the face.
You know what's crazy? So the reason why I was kind of sketched out about that was because there was a video. It was of a woman. She was a zookeeper, and it was at this kid's birthday party, right? Mm-hmm. And she was trying to take control of this small baby alligator. That thing latched onto her arm and started twisting and turning. And it looked like she was laughing, thinking like she had her control. I'm like, no, you don't have her control. That thing was pulling her. And this is in front of kids. I'm like, those kids are going to be scarred for the rest of their lives.
The alligator, you saw, it did the death roll on her, right? And she had been trained enough to counter the death roll.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I've seen the video too. Why do you think I put my daughter next to that alligator?
Let's see if this is real.
I'm like, hey,
I want to see it first.
I'll whoop that alligator's ass.
Oh, dude.
No, the alligator, if you looked at the picture, it had tape around the snout.
No, there was another one too, where I don't know if it was like plexiglass in front of the alligator, and
yes,
like, okay,
yeah, there was, oh, I know what you're talking about, the medium-sized one.
Yes,
that one, no, that was a pretty okay. That one did scare me a little bit. That one scared me even bigger than the more than the bigger one, because the little one, it was funny because I went over to get his picture, and I was trying to get a picture of a different angle. And he locked his eyes onto me. I think he saw me rocking the other pit vipers.
Oh, dude, he's like, whoa.
And he's like, oh, I think I saw what I'm interested in. And he literally moved away from my wife and daughter, and he got real close to me. He was
oh shit.
He was definitely locked onto me. So I don't know if like I resembled one of the keepers there or what, but he was like definitely staying with me. But yeah, wow. It was all secured, and okay. It was safe. It was actually really fun, man. There were pit vipers there.
Oh shit, the animal himself,
and they literally had it's the reptile zoo in Monroe, Washington, is what we're talking about. And they had 10, like all 10 of the 10 most venomous snakes on site. They were all there. The black mamba being the most deadly, most venomous snake. It was right there.
Damn.
Yeah, it was there. It was, but they had, it was just a lot of fun, man. I went in, wearing my sweatshirt, and by the end of it, I just took off all of my shirts, like my t-shirt. I just went out shirtless, just it was hot, took off my face mask, which was my handkerchief, and I just started wiping the sweat off me. I'm like, I can't handle this, guys.
Damn. That's cool though, man. It seemed like you guys had a good time, and you saw a lot of cool animals, and of course you saw also the two-headed turtle, right?
Yes, the two-headed turtle. That thing was
crazy.
Dope. Two heads are better than one.
Oh,
imagine that turtle's boyfriend.
Yeah,
how lucky he is. He's just like, man,
two for the price of one, right? That's how they say it.
Double mint gum, double your pleasure, double your fun.
And then also, I saw a picture of what was, I believe, a snapping turtle too, as well, right?
That big monster,
dude. Holy shit! That thing will like rip your hand off.
I ain't even trying to get close to that.
That's not your lovely Teenage Ninja Turtle, right?
Yeah. It was fun, man. But that big monster alligator, they had what they have dubbed the American alligator, and it's just a monster one. Now there was an albino one, but you couldn't tell he was white because he was sitting right underneath the red heat lamp. Okay. And he was just soaking the rays. But he was an albino alligator. So that's their I guess the two main things that their biggest attractions are the albino alligator and the two-headed turtle. But yeah, they had the boa that you could touch, so if you saw the other picture where Izzy, my daughter, standing next to the little baby alligator, and then so she was able to touch his scales, touch his claws, touch his tail, all that stuff. And then there was the little boa in there and she was able to touch that, and yeah, she was sketched out for sure, man. Who
Yeah.
doesn't? I think that's something in the human, like, we just know to be afraid of snakes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it'll make me think a bit. Like, I don't want to get too close or let my guard down. You don't know. You just don't know.
Ain't nothing but a gangster party.
Seriously, one strike. That's all it takes, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's dope, man. That's dope. It looks like you guys had an awesome time. What's crazy is that I don't think we've stopped one time, but it was closed. But this was years ago, and actually it was at a different location because they moved from a different location, right?
Oh, okay. This is the first I'd ever been there.
So yeah, I remember it being, I want to say, kind of before Monroe a little bit, and this was years ago. It's been there for a while, and we tried to stop in there a couple times, but it was always closed. But I think we always stopped like on a Sunday or something. And
you mind if I have another beer?
I'll go for it. No, Jay.
Yeah, I've got like 4 more right behind this one too. If that's okay.
Go for it.
All right.
No, but in other words, since these sunglasses gave me Terminator vibes. If you don't know, it's from Terminator 1, I believe, where he's rocking some similar shades like this. Good movie. But no, so Elon Musk will be called the modern Tony Stark, the real life Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder that. I was watching a few clips of his today, right? And he was talking about artificial intelligence, AI. And he was talking about how he fears it a lot and that he's tried to warn people about it. And he's just pretty much fear that he fears it a lot. But he's making a robot that's supposed to like do the, I guess, repetitive motions or just pretty much doing stuff that a human shouldn't be doing in regards to like
mundane tasks.
Yes, like everyday tasks that shouldn't be,
like burger flippers.
Like burger flippers. We use that as an example. But he wants to make these. So now I'm like, well, why are you saying? I don't know if they're going to be like artificially intelligent robots in general, or they're just going to be programmed to do certain things and that's it. But it's crazy to think like, why? I don't get it. I mean, knowing that there's a lot of more, I guess you could say, like, they were saying like a lot of robots in general, in a sense, when it comes to like the workplace, they're really trying to put that instead of actually having to hire actual people to do the labor and all that.
Yeah.
I get that. Damn. And he's talking about universal income. They're saying like, well, if we're going to do that, then we should really set a universal income, for the people that are going to be out of the jobs pretty much. But what do you think about that? I mean, what's kind of your 2 cents on that?
I mean, yes, I think that. So this has been a hard one for me because I'm very aware since what was his name? Was it Alex Yang or Alan Yang?
Alex Yang. I think
Alex Yang. I don't know.
Yang
whoever
Gang,
the Yang Gang guy was, but he was, from the San Francisco Bay Area, and he was trying to warn people that, listen, technology is now advancing to the point that these mundane tasks, I mean, and the examples he used were truckers. He was saying, we can build trucks that do these long haul truck drives. We can do those with robots.
Yeah.
So your $100,000 truck job, that's about out the window. So how do you replace that? Well, what it was UBI, Universal Basic Income, which is where your companies that are utilizing these robots, like Amazon, truck companies, whatever, they go out and they give the government all, this huge, I guess, robot tax or whatever it is, so that they can then disperse it amongst the population. So that is mainly, so UBI, as I understand it, and it could roll out a completely different way, but as I understand it, everybody's supposed to get some form of a check. But there's going to be things that UBI or jobs that robots cannot do. Like, you are always going to need a doctor. You can't just go to a robot and get diagnosed or whatever. Although technology is coming more and more into the hospitals and into the medical setting, so we're seeing that they are utilizing robots, but you cannot replace a doctor. Something that takes some cerebral thinking. That part of your brain. You need that. So that's the toss up. How do we, but jobs like burger flippers are going to be very easy. A lot of restaurants are just not going to be needed. Like, we need real skills and people that, you know, are doing just basic non-essential jobs, which, I mean, you know, people flame me when I say non-essential all the time. I've been flamed on it before, but I think you just have to realize that the reason you're in that position is because you chose not to be in that position. You chose not to challenge yourself, and that's just the way it is. So this is good for mankind because now you are forced to do something. You are forced to be more useful. And you know, I think half of the population is going to start. They're going to try to become artists, and the other half would have become um, OnlyFans workers. You know, they would have been, you know, on OnlyFans, but OnlyFans sort of shut their dream down on them by saying that they were not allowing porn on there anymore. That's pretty sad. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think this is good. Actually, overall, I think this is good, and I think that that's really cool that they are at least, you know, UBI is not going to make anyone rich. It's going to maybe put some shelter over your head, give you some food enough to live, but you are not going to thrive with UBI. So if you're going to still continue to be someone who just wants to put forth bare minimum and then just, you know, try to come up with the excuse, well, I have kids, da 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 da. Listen, you had the same choice to not have kids at an early age. You had every opportunity to finish high school, to go on to college that everyone else had. You didn't. You chose not to. Now you get to live with technology whooping that ass and enjoy the UBI. So, but you know, I'm not gonna. I'm done being soft on degenerates. You know, and there's some people that like welfare, when it was first created, it was supposed to be for temporary use, but we have so many people that are relying on it on a permanent basis. That's UBI. If you want to see what UBI is, it's that.
Yeah.
And so so that's essentially what it is. And you know, I think good. You know, give people enough money that they can live, but you know, maybe some of those people, maybe they would be like, maybe they just need a kick in the ass to say, you know what, I'm working 2 restaurant jobs, and I just have nothing to show for it. Well, now you're getting a UBI check, and now you're watching YouTube videos. YouTube has so much free, like, not to say that I've learned everything on crypto from YouTube. There have been some training, you know, some classes that I've had to pay for and that I'm learning a lot from. But YouTube offers a hell of a lot to get you really ahead. And so it's a great resource, but I think that there's also other resources out there. This is the opportunity. So now that you're not working, this is perfect for a lot of people. This is your opportunity. So that's my take on it. What about you? What do you think?
I agree with what you're saying, bro. You know, some people, they get motivated differently. They need that extra push in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like this is going to be a huge awakening for a lot of those people where you're going to have to adapt. And I think I always like using the phrase adapt or get left behind, because at this point in time right now, I'm just saying, man, there's a lot, like you were saying, I'm gonna go off with what you were talking about, YouTube providing a bunch of resources in the sense of learning how to edit, like your boy, straight up. That a perfect example, even though like I don't hold myself to be a master editor and nothing like that. No, I'm just saying I learned the basics and I'm gonna go from that and learn and just try to evolve from it, you know, because for me, it's just being stuck at a certain point where I know myself and that I can move up a notch here and there if I put my mind to it, take some time to watch a few videos here and there, repeat it, and then just apply it myself, do it over and over and over, and then get the hang of it. And it takes some time for sure. But at the same time, it's like now I'm utilizing that skill to bring you what you guys see on our YouTube page and all that. And I edited all those videos myself, you know, and it took a little bit, but hey, at no cost, just besides my time being, you know, applying it to just trying to learn all that, and it became what it is now.
Yes,
So it's
sir.
like, you know, you have to motivate yourself in general. And I think with that, I think when people start really seeing, you know, these robots, you know, before you used to see people at the back of the freaking, what is it, Wendy's or McDonald's, whatever, flipping your burgers, you'll see the Tesla T1546, whatever, flipping your burgers, and then one working at the drive-thru. That's gonna be like, all right,
Yeah.
keep on playing.
I'll be telling my
grandkids
grandkids
right there.
I'll be telling my grandkids, you know, when I worked at Burger King, I set the original, the human drive-through record time. I set that record as a human.
Oh yeah.
Tesla has since beat me, but as a human, I beat
Mhm.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
My grand.
No, you're gonna be like a legend, dude. You're gonna be like, you know,
Oh yeah.
legend has it. You should be a human. You should do this.
They'll be like, they'd be like, Grandpa, you were such a degenerate. You would work at Burger King at age 40.
What a loser.
What a douchebag.
No, but that's true, man. And you know, and back to the God, man, it's just insane to think that there's a lot of people that truly don't even need welfare. You know, they're still using all these like EBT cards and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I don't know. I guess if that's how you're gonna roll like that, but yep. I mean, dude, save it for the people that really truly need it. But at the same time, it's like, you know, man, it's just so much out of control to really kind of see, you know, who needs it, who doesn't, but it's some obvious. Like some people are like, all right, do you really need that? Seriously, you know, it's just a joke sometimes. But yeah, man,
we see it, and this is not so. You know, when we are, you know, talking like this, we are not talking to the permanently disabled, the people that literally cannot physically go out and work.
For sure.
We are talking to the people that know in their hearts they should be out there working, but don't want to because they are just lazy detriments to our society.
Yeah.
You know, and I think our society is too kind on degenerates, and I hope that things change. I hope that eventually, you know, we I don't know what has to break for something for people to be forced into work. Like, what's it going to take for this honey pot to just finally run out of honey? You know, like it's got to end. I'm like, here I am, like, you know, accumulating everything that I can, and I'm just waiting. I'm like, when is this thing gonna blow up? When are they actually gonna have to work? You know, because I need some employees.
So he'll be hiring soon, people. So if you want,
I'll be hiring some of those degenerates. They'll be like listening to our old podcast, and be like, man, you were quite the asshole. You're a good boss. I'll be a good boss.
Say I'm an asshole, but you know what? I hired you.
Hey, are you better now than the day you got hired on to Amnesty Industries? What's going on? What's going on, man?
Nice.
Trying to make you better.
Nice, dude. But in the crypto world, I definitely want to talk to you about that and just see, dude, ADA is fucking blowing up. Like I mean, I would say it's just doing really good. I would say blowing up. We were talking about like, okay, it's really in the money. But yeah, you're rocking the ADA shirt. Look at that. Charles Hoskins, dude, I'm starting to like him more and more. I'm really, is it Hoskinson?
Hoskinson.
Oh, Hoskinson.
I haven't corrected you before, but
I know. It's the shades. Right. It's making me a little just playing. No,
I know, man. It puts you in the crazy
house. That's
what
you're supposed to do. Correct me, because I don't want to keep going on and fucking butchering the guy's name, you know, and I don't want him to call me out on Twitter,
like you literally love
all the people. Yeah. Hoskinson. Okay, there we go. He corrected me. There we go. Hoskinson. But no, the more and more I keep just watching what he tweets on Twitter, man, it's so the guy's just so straight up. He does not give a fuck. He'll call people out, like, you know, hitting him with the fucking truth. Obviously, he's gonna defend what he's for, but it's the people that really try to just kind of troll him. And he says just it's the funniest shit. And like I say, it reminds me a little bit of you at the times when we used to work together and how you were just so direct towards people. It's like, damn.
Oh, I still am. I got told to chill out the other day. I'm like, homie, I'm chill as a cucumber right now. You're the one that hasn't figured it out. So you figure it out. You tell me what's going down, how it's going down, and then I can help you. But until you figured it out, I can't help you. I can't do your job for you. That's it. Just got to let people know. If there's nothing wrong with calling a stupid person out, if you're going to be stupid, just like you're siding with Charles Hoskinson, he hates stupidity. And especially when these people, they put out these tweets And they try to, like, for instance, one tweet is he'll get often, when burn, meaning when are you going to burn some of your Cardano supply, some of your ADA supply? When are you gonna, because um the less supply you have, the more value that the current holders will have. The value will rise, right? That's scarcity. But he is looking at it like, okay, don't even for 1 second try to compare Cardano with a piece of shit coin like Doge or Shiba Inu. This is not a dog coin. This is not a meme coin. This is a real project. It's the only cryptocurrency in the crypto space that's been peer-to-peer reviewed by scientists. The only one, not even Ethereum, not even Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, no other cryptocurrency out there currently has been peer-to-peer reviewed by scientists. He is dead serious about this Cardano project, and I am dead serious as a Cardano holder. And I've been telling people ever since I got in the game in January, pull the trigger. If you're going to get into something, get into it now. And I'm telling you,
I followed the advice, and I'll just say, man, it's true. Like, what's crazy, I mean, I won't go into too much detail, but like, I had a few left over in Coinbase, and I put some in my other wallet, right? And I'm staking some of it. And
yeah,
that little bit I had left in Coinbase,
yeah,
I'm like, holy shit! It fucking turned into like a nice little piece. I was like, damn. I'm like that, huh? I'm like, okay. So now I'm kind of getting more familiar with it, kind of like, experimenting like myself and just like kind of reading a little bit about stuff here and there. So I mean, dude, it's like you're saying it. For me, I'm trying to apply the method of not having to really look at it every day, but every once in a blue moon, especially when you tell me like, oh shit, do you see what's happening? Or I read something of Charles's tweets, I'll be like, okay,
yeah,
let's see what's going on. So no, it's the truth, man. I mean, it's definitely gonna boom here as more and more people start fucking jumping on the wagon. So I just hope nothing but good things from it. So
as you and I are talking, it was at a low of 238 today. It went all the way down to 238. It's now at 255. It just popped all the way up. So in this conversation, it popped, and it's just making our pockets just a little bit fatter.
Yeah, no, straight up, and it's and just staking in general, kind of how like Brad explained it to me a little bit, and then you explained it to me a little bit. I'm like, fuck, like if once I start putting more in it, it's like, dude, this is gonna be fucking insane. Like the outcome of it, like damn.
So yeah, that's so Cardano is building a system, and I know, like, for one, I don't want to take the time away because I know you have some things, and I really want to hear. I want to go into what you have, but I'll say this real quick, and then we'll dovetail it. With crypto in general, there's so many ways to make money aside from just investing, opening a Coinbase account and investing in whatever project interests you. And so I implore people to go out and see what else is out there. Mm-hmm. Like, Google ways to make money off of crypto, and so many people are out there willing to share their knowledge, and it's really good. The reason why I'm sort of not being as forthcoming as I would like to be is, even I'm going through training right now to figure out basically how to live off of the income. So if I ever get fired, or if I ever find myself replaced by a robot, or layoffs come or anything, right? I'm unemployed.
Plan A, plan B, plan C.
I don't want to rely on government assistance for anything. Nothing. I feel like I was created with a brain smart enough to figure this stuff out. We are not designed to live as for someone else to feed us. We were never created to have a government feed us. That is just not humans. That's not what we are built for. So with that mindset, that's why I'm a lifelong learner anyway. And that's one thing. I get book after book. I love history. I love studying history. I love psychology. But I love money. I love money, and I love business, and so it just, you know, it all ties in, right? And you know that when someone else is paying their checks, paying your check, they make the rules, not you. And I am sort of one of those people that just doesn't like being told what to do. I like going in my own lane, going to my own way. So anyway, to dovetail it, Google how to make more money, and Tip Touch listeners, the answers are out there. There's so many ways. That's just in crypto. If crypto is just one of those things, I know I talk to so many people that it's just not their thing. It's just like way over their head. They think it's over their head. It's not. But it's so new that so many people just don't trust it. So that's where people like you and people like me and people we talk to. I know that you have spread the knowledge as well. You've talked to people. You've shared that, and you're going to help a lot of people. You're going to open a lot of people's eyes and their minds up to this basically web 3.0. So good for you for doing that. Good for you for listening. Good for you for taking action, and good for you for going out there and spreading what you've learned to get other people on board.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, you know, like you said, it's a new thing. I think a lot of people do kind of, they're a little bit intimidated by how such a new thing this you know, crypto in general is. Yep. And I get it. Because it deals, you know, it deals with money. And of course you really, I don't like telling people to do with their money, but I just kind of inform them kind of like what it really, just the basics. I'm not really like I'm no financial expert by any means or crypto expert. I mean, you're more knowledgeable, so I go to you and ask you questions, but it's kind of,
I will help you, but I won't tell people what to do with their money either.
Yeah. So it's the concept of, just like you said, I like being able to have control of my money and nobody having to fucking be able to do, you know, having that ability to take it all from me for whatever reason, or, you know, me having control of it 100%. Yes, that's like the beauty itself there. So,
I'll drink to that.
That's yeah, definitely. That's kind of like my reason for it, just because it's the new wave. It's going to be the future. I feel like it is. It's going to be implemented here
100%
in a few years. So, I mean, that's my take. I mean, we could be wrong. I don't know, but that just the way I see it, how it's going, Cardano in general, that's to the moon, baby.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, Cardano. For sure. If you're in Cardano, you're happy. Even right now, even at, you know, at a price of 250, my personal price prediction, and we'll see. We'll put it on today. But by 9/12, September 12th, that's when the Alonzo hard fork comes out, and that is basically smart contracts that makes ADA a real cryptocurrency at that point. Because right now you're an early investor. You're investing in Amazon before Amazon was the Amazon that we know it today. If you know, as the analogy. So this would be like investing in Amazon when it was just a bookseller, when they were just selling online books. And then, you know, people with Amazon are telling people, hey, this thing is going to be much bigger than books. And a lot of people were like, yeah, I don't think so. How are we going to do online business? No, we've got Walmart, we've got Target. We're happy with these big box stores. I like going there. I like trying on the clothes. I like doing, look at us now. We are literally, I mean, just before you and I started this thing, I just bought 2 things off of Amazon, and and the beauty of it, they're going to be overnighted. Like, they're going to be here by the time I wake up, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how gangster is that, dude? And so if you would have invested in Amazon in those early days, my goodness, my man, you know what I mean? Like, there's people that have done that and they never had to work another day in their life. Same thing with Microsoft. But I'm saying, and I'm not saying that Cardano is ever going to get to $1,000. I'm one of the very few minorities that says that it could. And if you go out into the forums, no one, unless they're like one of those people that is a pumper, you know, they're trying to get subscribers or whatever, and there's nothing behind it. But I do think that in time you could see Cardano reach $1,000. Now everybody is going to label me crazy. All I'm saying is I am not letting my Cardano go. I'm not letting it go. I'm staking it and I'm compounding it, all of that. Because when you stake it and you get free rewards, about 5% in return, depending on what stake pool you get into, you get rewarded, and then that just compounds, and then you get 5% on your new rewards, 5% on your new rewards. So that's just that one. Other ways, Google it. Let's go to the next topic.
Okay. No. Yeah. No. So your guess. Your guess in the here in a couple months.
The 912.
Yes.
Oh, 912 $5 ADA. That's what I'm saying.
Oh baby.
912, and then I do think that it'll hit $8 sometime before the end of the year, but it will correct back, and it'll the support will probably be by the end of the year, maybe $6, but
Yeah.
5 is definitely healthy by 912. I would love to see it hit $6 by the end of the year, but I think that it could spike to 8, and then just correct and sort of need to get some support at around $6.
All right, so we'll have to check in on that and see where it goes. And I mean, you've been right on some of the things you called out before and just random shit, so I don't put it past you, dude. So we'll see.
I also invested in SHIB for all the shit that I talk about. Shiba Inu, I did invest in SHIB, and I finally I'm not technically out of SHIB, but I have a plan to convert it over. So I very soon, like as early as tomorrow, am going to be 100% out of Shiba Inu. And that was like, even people that have their shit together can make stupid decisions. And it was all greed. It was, at a moment when I got very greedy and I got very stupid and I spent way too much money and I lost. I learned my lesson. I lost some money on that one.
Hence why he's drinking heavily.
I'm not right about everything.
Hey, man,
but I'm honest.
That's the nature of the beast, man. We make mistakes, and it is what it is. We live and learn. It's just that it's more of like, they say it's like you take a loss, but it's more like you gain some knowledge. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna do that again. So you gain something at the end of the day. So it's, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Nah, man, but you'll bounce back. I know you will. But shifting gears, yeah. So today, I actually have, I want to go into. So, just a little backstory on how I got into this whole topic of what we're going to talk about today. And this goes back like around 2006, 2005 for me, when I actually had something better than dial-up internet. I actually had DSL. I remember when I moved over here to the side of the mountains, I had DSL, and fast internet. YouTube at the time was barely popping, so I was like, "Oh shit, this is so cool!" YouTube, blah blah blah.
Yeah, Charlie bit my finger.
Oh, yeah. So I just started hitting YouTube pretty hard and just watching the random videos and stuff. And at the time, it being a new thing, like a new platform, obviously for what it is right now, I don't know how I came across it, but it just came up. It was something to do with aliens, something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And at that time, I was really skeptical. Like I didn't believe in that shit. I was just, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
And I started watching this video about this gentleman that we're going to be talking about. His name is Bob Lazar. Robert Lazar. That's his name.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
No, I'm kidding.
So it pretty much, it really interests me because it came up more recently in the past couple of years, because obviously he was on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And then with everything coming out with UAPs, the government admitting to seeing these things a lot, and just keeping tabs on them to see what they really are, because they don't even know what these things are that they're coming across, right? But everything's falling so in line with, at the time when I watched those videos, what he was talking about and describing how these things moved back then. And like, this was 1989, 1990, 1991, around that time frame, back that many years ago. How he described these things moving is so accurate to how these things are moving now. So you tell me, coincidence? I don't know. So okay. So just a little brief just background on who Bob Lazar is, right? He was born in 1959, January 26th, in Coral Gables, Florida. He was obviously really into technology at a very young age.
Nerd.
No, he was a big time nerd. No, this dude, that's all he breathed, like just engineering and everything, just like he actually converted this Honda car into a rocket car.
Yeah,
it was
I
topping
remember
out
that.
over speeds over 200 miles per hour. It was the craziest shit. And he was like getting a lot of eye. Like, damn, like who would strap a fucking rocket to a Honda? I don't know what certain model Honda it was, but it was just crazy. He was that type of guy. And he also made a bike too, but it had like little rockets on it. So he was really hands-on type dude, like just creating these crazy, like somewhat inventions, right? Just doing all these modifications and all that. So one thing I want to know, and one thing I want to actually put out there before we kind of go into more into the conspiratorial side of this, is that there was actually an article from Los Alamos that was published in 1982 on June 27th. It was from the Los Alamos Monitor. And he goes into detail about this car that he built, the rocket car, and kind of just talks about Bob Lazar, who he really is, and where he was at the time. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and pay close attention to this detail. In that article, it says that he used to work at Los Alamos, and it's a physics facility where he was doing... what was it? He was working on this. Let's see. Let me find it. Right. He was. He was a physicist at Los Alamos, right? Mm-hmm. And this is before he moved to before he moved from California, and he was at Pierce Junior College. And also another thing, they want to discredit him, right? I want to point out, and this is where people literally jump on the side of saying that he's not a legitimate, like his credentials aren't legitimate because there is no proof that he went to these colleges and got these master degrees in physics, and it was physics and something else. Physics and electronics. That's what he had 2 master's degrees on right there.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing too, that to me too, when I was kind of watching these videos, I'm like, well, why would there be no record of him saying that, you know, he graduated from this, you know, college or whatever. Mm-hmm. And this is where it gets crazy. And this is something that I found out new today, and I didn't know about it till today. So there's this gentleman that goes by the name of Jeremy Corbell.
Yes.
He is a let's see. I just want to give what he is. He's a contemporary artist, documentary filmmaker, and he's also like a UFO enthusiast, right? He's from Los Angeles, California. And he got in contact with this gentleman by the name of, let's find it here, just so I know I'm going to give out the deets on this. He ran to this, he somehow located this engineering physicist by the name of Robert Krangle. He's from Albuquerque, and he's actually at MIT. He was an MIT from 1973. He was a conductor in physics. And he's been an engineer, a consultant at Sandia Labs in Albuquerque and Los Alamos since 1980. So, with people trying to discredit him, saying that he never worked at these places where they said he worked at, this guy, he said that at the time while he was there, he actually talked to Bob Lazar and knew who he was at the time. And that's one thing where it blew my mind, because, like, you know, Jeremy Corbell in this little interview that they were doing, he kept pressing him about, well, were they just let anybody there at Los Alamos, or you actually had to have credentials? Meaning they had to look at your credentials, knowing like you had some kind of master's or whatever, you know, back in your, you know, your skill set. And he's like, they wouldn't just let anybody in there. You had to be the real deal. You had to be like an actual physicist to actually be hired and work there. And this dude had conversations with him, like actually had a brief conversation about his rocket car, because he was like a car enthusiast. And they had these conversations, and what's crazy, after Bob got let go of what we're going to go into on what he worked on and all that, after he had got let go from that, he had asked them, why did he come out and say the things he say, admitting to having to work on these quote unquote projects? Bob simply told him that it was just, this was something that I felt as like a physicist. I'm just saying what Bob said, that I feel like the world should know. And that we should be informed about. And that's pretty much how he left it. Yeah. So now, who is Bob Lazar, and like what's the whole conspiracy behind this? For people that don't know, never heard about this guy, right? So the conspiracy, and I'm gonna say conspiracy because they're really not gonna say if this was really the case or it was just a fucking made up, fabricated story, and he just lied out his teeth and he made it sound all legitimate, right? Yeah. So he claimed that he had high level access to this area in let's see. He had worked at a location that they called S4. It was south of Groom Lake, and it was at the main facility of Area 51. Yes, Area 51, where they have aliens supposedly, and they have all these alien craft and all that. Just that famous Area 51, that's where he used to work at. But it was at a different sector called S4.
Yeah.
And he said that he claimed while he was there, and when he got hired working on there, they showed him that there were nine alien aircraft in hangars, and that this place was built on the side of the mountains that was adjacent to Papoose Dry Lake in that area, and it was disguised to make it look like it was like part of the desert in a way, like camouflaging it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when he came out, and when he admitted to it, when he in the midst of him, I think almost being let go, and because he kind of just came out and wanted to talk to somebody about it and kind of let it be known what was going on and what he had himself, involved with. He went under the pseudonym of Dennis, and that's where he met a famous. He was a news anchor in Las Vegas by the name of George Knapp, and he went under the pseudonym Dennis. Bob Lazar did, just to kind of hide his identity at first. And that's where he was just letting him know that he's worked on these aircraft. They hired him specifically to reverse engineer these craft that at the time he didn't know where they got, what it was, how it worked. And I'll tell you, so, and for me, I'm not really a science major at all, by no means necessary. I'm dumb as they come, seriously.
Yeah, I'm an ape.
So the weird thing about this whole thing, right? And kind of from my understanding, because there was people on videos that I've seen kind of describing what Bob worked on, whatever. He talked about this. It was a plate, and then there was a ball on top of that plate. And he said it was almost like this thing was creating its own gravity. Now, when you think about that, a fucking plate holding up a ball and the ball floating, creating its own gravity, that itself sounds like something from a fucking movie. And this dude is explaining, like, he saw the aircraft, and he was like, he actually drew some of these sketches, like, in fine detail, like, of how everything looked, like, straight from, like, if you could remember something and kind of vividly try to paint something from what you saw. This dude was so in detail of, like, the craft that he was in and what he saw and all that. And he was just explaining of how this stuff works. And at the time, he even said, like, there's no way that we can reverse engineer any of this. It's so far beyond our time. Like, we don't even have the elements, the equipment, the materials in general, nothing. So at the time when I watched all these videos, I was like, I don't know. It just seemed too good to be true, right? Like, it was just one of those things where I kind of just called it BS at the time. Fast forward now, when I saw that Joe Rogan was going to have him on his podcast and, talk to him and all that, I was really looking forward to the episode because I wanted to hear just like recount his story to see if everything sounded the same and all that. Mm-hmm. And it pretty much, I don't think he ever really changed his story at all. Nothing much. I mean, there were some minor details because, of course, this was years ago. It was like 1989, 1990. This was fucking years ago. But even Joe, like he said on himself, like, I don't think this guy's bullshitting me at all. And he's like, and it's almost like kind of like us, like when we know, like when we talk to anybody, whatever, if we know they're bullshitting about something, we can kind of call it out. But especially with this cat, because he was more like on the scientific level, like of explaining things and how things were working and what he saw and all that. I don't know, man. I mean, even till now, like, especially with this claim with Jeremy Corbell, when he talked to this physicist, when he said that pretty much solidifies everything that they were trying to discredit him for, saying that he never went to Los Alamos. But this guy's saying, no, I used to see him at Los Alamos. We had a conversation.
His name was found in there. Yeah.
His name was found in there. And they found him in actually an old book record. It had his name on there and everything.
Yes.
So, and that's one thing they're really trying to like really hang him for, saying that just because you don't have the credentials and we can't find them like online or in the fucking directories or whatever, we just can't believe with what you're saying. But here's the other thing. So there was a little incident that happened, and I'm going to just read it off here just because I want to give the specifics on this. In November of 2004, off of the Southern California coast, the USS Nimitz, which is obviously those big ass boats with the fucking fighter jets on them when they take off and all that.
Aircraft carrier.
Yes. Commander Dave Fravor, he was an 18-year pilot, FA-18 flight pilot. This is dubbed the Tic Tac encounter. This is in 2004. He was a commanding officer of the A-41 Black Aces and a squadron of F-18 Hornet fighter planes doing exercises that were 60 to 100 miles from the coast of San Diego and Ensenada, Mexico, before they were going to deploy to the Persian Gulf for the Iraq War. This is what he was saying. And he said there was, during this training exercise, that the guy that was reading off the UAV just to see like if everything was clear, just to make sure, you know, if there was anything like out of the ordinary, anything sus, you know, just let us know. And he noticed that there was something hovering over the surface of the water. So the one thing too that I actually do remember that was kind of suspicious to me, like, or kind of just weird, is that, you know, obviously we've seen in movies when helicopters go down to the water, you see the fucking waves flashing, splashing, all that.
Yes.
Because of the fucking propellers up that.
The wind, yeah.
The one thing Fravor said that the first thing that spooked, like not spooked him, but kind of threw him off was like, I don't see any water being kind of like, I don't know. He used a specific term. Obviously, you know, he uses these very specific terms. He was saying that there was no water, like, nothing out of the ordinary, making it seem like there's something hovering down there, like anything like helicopter wise, nothing fighter jet wise.
It almost would look like a bad Photoshop of like a helicopter coming down, but you're like, the water's not moving as
moving, nothing at all, nothing. And that's one thing said right there. That was the first thing that really threw me off. There was nothing about this making it seem like it was anything that was just like anything that we have, nothing at all. And then it's like, before you knew it, this thing just fucking popped up at so fucking fast speeds that they looked up like in like almost a split second. This thing was above them already. And these guys are flying. Now, keep in mind, people, these guys are flying the creme de la crop, the best of the best fucking fighter jets that we have. And this thing was like making it seem like this was a fucking snail. That's when I got like, oh shit.
Yeah, right.
Like, he was just... When I read that whole, or when he was talking about it and he was just going detail by detail, step by step on his experience when he saw this, it makes you wonder, dude, like, what the fuck is it that's out there that is making our like just F-18s look like nothing?
Yeah.
And this happened a couple times. This was this one incident, and this happened another incident before where they caught a few of these things flying around. But here's the crazy part. Fravor actually talked to Bob Lazar, right?
Yeah.
And they had a discussion of just how this thing moved. Now, Bob back in the day, in the 90s, was talking about, obviously we think of alien aircraft hovering, you know, just horizontal, right? Bob said they actually move up and they move belly first and they fly, you know, whatever direction they're going.
Oh, wow.
Fast forward, that's exactly what Fravor said, that it was moving. Coincidence or not. And I'm saying, if you're going to be dead on for a few things, like, some things are really lining up. Now I'm getting to the point where like, oh shit, what if he was working on something like, I mean, granted, right? This was years ago. No, the government's not gonna come out and say, yeah, he was really part of our group at the time, blah, 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 blah. They're not going to do that. Technology at this point, technology like that, if we possess it, I'm just saying if, right? Let's just put it out there as if. They're not going to want that in the hands of other countries. We're keeping that shit for us. Like, if we're going to reverse engineer it, we want to be the first ones. Because if that thing's doing that to our F-18s, imagine. And just the technology itself, creating its own gravity, like, dude, like Bob said, it would have changed the world.
Yeah. Well, the thing is for as long as UFOs have been around, or for as long as we've seen sightings, you would think that if they were real, or if, you know, whatever, that we would, I mean, okay, for instance, like we have internet, right? But before internet was spread out to the common public, the military was actually using the internet before.
Yep.
And that's when Al Gore said he had invented it. But the military was actually using it to send, you know, emails to each other, whatnot. And then it came out to the public, and then we use the internet for, you know, what you see today. So, you know, that was technology we had in the 70s, the internet, the military had long before we in the common areas and the common public had it. but for as long as UFOs have been around, and for, I mean, what, the first crash that we had was Roswell
Roswell, that was
in, what
technically
was it,
the one, yeah.
1950s, or no, it was in the 40s, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was in the 40s. And and so ever since then we've had it. But I've heard things about the Nazis working on
Yes, you talked
UFOs
about
as
that.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so if that's the case, then they had this technology before we had it. The Allies ended up winning the war, and so it's almost like we took that technology with us, but then just kept it completely silent. I don't know. I mean, for me, I always have stood. The more and more I hear about the stuff, and the more and more I see it, it looks like the U.S. government is the one behind all these UFOs, and it's in such a secret class that even they don't share it with the military. So
Could
people
be.
like Bob Lazar, people like Fravor, people like Jeremy Corbell, is that what his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
You know, they will never have, they will never talk to someone from the deep black ops type government field. Whoever has it, they will never talk to those people.
Yeah.
So I'm under the impression that it is somehow, some way man-made, but but still the question still begs to be asked: what about things like the old paintings that show UFOs in there from the 1400s?
Mm-hmm.
Columbus, in his diary,
He
they
talks
said
about it.
that they had seen something come out of the water, a light that they had never seen before. So that's where it gets weird, right? It's has this thing been around for so long? And it's baffling. It's baffling. But now, for the first time in history, we have people that have actually put their hands on these things and
Yeah.
worked on them and are talking.
Yeah. I think it's just, I really try to split the two. In like when we talk about just UFOs with, aside from UAPs, I mean, it could be like, I think that seems more of a believable route where this is so higher, like the highest of the highest, uh, you know, level of securities to where they're not going to just show this to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're just testing our own troops to see, like, let's see what the best of the best, meaning
Yes.
us, could be able to handle it. But this is also kind of a way to see, like, kind of like flexing, but not really flexing, meaning like we're showing the whole fucking world like this shit to let you know that we got something that we're working on that you ain't gonna touch.
Well, here's another interesting thing too. If like I've looked up UFO sightings
Mm-hmm.
world map, and it's mostly in European countries.
Mm-hmm.
South Africa, there's a lot of sightings.
Yeah.
America, there's a lot of sightings. You'll see some in Mexico. You'll see
Yep.
some in, but it's not like there's a lot of the world where there's been absolutely zero reported sightings.
That's
Not saying
true.
that the sightings haven't been there. Maybe they just didn't report it, didn't know where to report it, whatever. But it seems like it's mostly in European, American, Canadian. It's almost like these UFOs are, or UAPs, whatever you want to call them, are only going out to certain areas. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's a good
It's
thing to
just
point out.
why are some countries seeing these things, and then other countries seem to not be seeing any of these phenomena at all?
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's just really interesting because like, this is probably one of the few stories that I follow up through from back then till now because like I said, it was almost kind of like trying to solidify to make sure like if this is really just BS or if this guy's legitimately telling the truth. But the more and more that I'm listening and reading just these little articles here and there, I feel like the guy did work on something that they didn't know what it was, and maybe like like you said, they could have got it from at the time. There was this conspiracy too with the Nazis had that type of technology and they were working on it and they
Yeah.
actually flown it and stuff like that. And maybe we could have retrieved it and they gave it to him. They're like, hey, how does this work? We need to know now. We need to figure it out. And that's where he got his hands on it and he tried to back engineer it, but maybe said, I don't know. we can't yet. But also another thing I want to throw in there, just because it's one of those piece of evidence that they're saying that it holds a lot of, like, okay, this is a piece of evidence that's pretty, what do you say, how could he know back then, and then they didn't find out that this element existed? And what the element that I'm talking about is element 115.
Oh, 115, yeah.
115. So, and I'm gonna find it here in my notes. I have it everywhere. Okay, so the most interesting proof for the legitimacy of the claims of Lazar is the element 115. He talks about a core piece of propulsion system on the craft he was studying called element 115. Wow. This element has a seat on the periodic table of elements and is now known as Moscovium. Russian scientists synthesized element 115 in the lab in 2003 and named the element Moscovium. Sorry, butchering that. This element was known until 2003, 14 years after Lazar claimed it to be researching the element for the U.S. military. Oh, and the country that ended up publicly discovering the element? Russia, you know, the other country that's obsessed with space.
Wow.
So, I mean,
they named it, huh? Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
They named it. But right there. So he found out about it 14 years.
But what is that important about the element? What is?
So that's supposedly the element that's used to properly. It's kind of like the power source of this thing to make it go off.
Wow. So okay. So where can you find it? Because all the other elements on the periodical table you could find in the earth somewhere. You could mine it. You could.
I guess it's made. It's because I know there's some that we actually find on Earth, like elements and stuff like that. But there's some that are actually made, or again, I could be wrong. That are actually made, right?
Okay, wait, no, that doesn't make sense, because if you make an element, you're using other elements to make it.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Like everything on Earth, like everything, is on the periodical table.
Okay, here we go. To make the Moscovium, the scientists in Russia and the United States bombarded atoms of americium with ions of calcium in the clitoron, cyclotron, clitoron or whatever, cyclotron. I'm butchering these names. I'm sorry, people. This produced the atoms from Moscovium. And it's element 115, 288 on the periodic table.
That is wild. Even my computer screen can't handle it.
I mean, you can probably pronounce the names better than I. I'm butchering it. I'm horrible at reading.
You know what I do for a living.
But yeah, that's how it's made. So that's what it's saying here. So, and this is livescience.com for people who want to check it out. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
dang,
so it says only a few atoms of Moscovium have ever been made, and they are only used in the scientific study. It is used to make nihonium. So yeah.
Damn, dude.
I mean, coincidence with all this? I don't know, man. It seems like every little thing that comes out already so far, it's almost like it's too good to be true, lining up with the story. Like you just can't get that lucky with him saying it and then people not believing it, and then little things come out like this, like where it kind of solidifies what he's talking about.
Okay, I have a question.
All right.
With all of the years that Bob Lazar has been out there, are there still skeptics out there? Are there still people saying they don't believe?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. A lot of people.
Listen, I'm skeptical as hell. I mean, I am very skeptical on a lot of things. But when, the more and more I listen to Bob Lazar, and UAPs, UFOs, those have only because I always thought they were, it was just like alien folklore. I just thought it was some sort of folklore. Sure. So I just really, it was never down my alley. Mm-hmm. But I think, the more and more I've talked with you, the more and more you've thrown things in my direction. It's like you've almost like separated the aliens from the aircrafts.
Yeah.
And so that was, I guess, what I needed to be able to research some of this stuff myself and listen to the different podcasts, that like the Joe Rogan one. I listened to that as well. And I'm like, I left that podcast going, son of a bitch. I think these things might be real.
Yeah.
And so I'm not, I mean, when it comes to UFOs, UAPs, I I I think definitely that they are real. I think those are real.
Mm-hmm.
I am yet to be convinced of aliens,
Mm-hmm.
of those existing, because I've just, we've always seen, like when you're watching the news and they release all these Navy cameras, or Air Force or whoever, they release that footage. It's always, you always see the crazy UAPs flying around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have yet to see some type of alien.
Yeah, man. It's there's just a lot more and more sightings coming out. People talking about it, especially high level people. Obviously, with the Tic Tac incident, there's even the guy that saw it on the radar and how he was describing it. It was I was listening to the audio and him just recounting that day on. It blew his mind knowing how fast this thing was moving. He's like, there's no way that we have something like this that can move at that speed. He was just pretty much saying that if our fucking jets were to fly at that speed, the fucking wings would rip right off. The pilot would be dead.
Yes,
like the pilot would be dead. He's like, that's where it gets. He was just mind blown. He's like, how the fuck is this thing out flying our F-18s? There is no way.
That's another point that I'm glad you brought up.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say this earlier. Of all these videos that we've seen of these UAPs flying around, you've never seen any type of hostile attack. You've never even seen any type of weaponry on them. So I'm thinking, they can't be used for any type of offensive thing. It's almost like they are spy drones, but a very, very technically advanced type of spy drone, one that could just get in and out anywhere, wherever. But but I guess that's one thing that sort of gives me a little bit of ease, is that there's never been any weapons. When you look at the videos of these Tic Tac little machines, there's no weapons on them. No. So I like that.
I would say that's a good thing. I wouldn't want to see fucking missiles on both the side of those things. Like, let's not try to do anything dumb here.
Yeah, is that a missile? Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, but one thing that I do say that in realms of it being a possible threat is he said there was a point in time where he was trying to lock onto this thing to just kind of read its the coordinates of where it was flying, and just reading its speed, right?
Sure.
He said there was a point in time where this thing jammed the radar, meaning like it was not letting it focus on it.
Yeah, baby. And he's like,
then and there, it would have been a call where we would call the Pentagon and say, do we approach this as a threat or do we let it go?
Sure.
But he said it was so quick where it eventually locked on. I believe he said it eventually locked on, and they were able to they weren't still getting any readings of how fast these things were going, but it was following it through, they were still trying to capture it, watching it as it was flying through the area where they were at.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Those two incidences, which is the Tic Tac and the other one, I forgot the name of it. They're recent, those people that were there at the time when that happened. I mean,
the Nimitz, is that the other one?
The Nimitz, yes, the Nimitz, and then the Tic Tac. Those two right there. They can't explain. And if it's things that the government is really trying to fucking keep lip sealed, we're not telling anybody. And if we're going to test it on somebody, we're going to test it on those F-18s we have out there to see how fucking bad those things really are.
Right.
I don't know, man. It could be. I'm putting out there. It possibly could be. That would be a legitimate reason there. But I don't know, man. I mean, for him,
does it scare you at all?
It's more of like, I'm more curious because I think now more that this is coming out, and then obviously the Pentagon's talking about it, and they're really, starting to put more stuff out there. It really makes me pay attention more because, dude, if I wonder what else they could use that on, I don't know if they would apply it on every essentials that we need here or whatever. I don't
bro.
know. That's
You know how
the
much I
crazy thing
would
about it.
save in gas if I could just
Oh,
put some
dude.
element 115 in my car and
Oh, do you just float?
fly it to work? Yeah, I'd be like, bro, check me out.
Just dock it.
Dude, you know how many radars I jammed? How many
Oh,
police
dude.
radars I jammed on the way here?
Yeah, they can probably try to catch you, man. That's the thing. No, but it's just crazy, man. Like I don't think I'm scared of more of it. Like it's more interesting and just it's one of those things where now you're trying to keep up to date with what's really going on, and then also just reading out there all this stuff that the more videos that we see. You sent me one of those of the one that really tripped me out. You sent me a video of these people that were on this cruise ship. I think they were on a cruise ship or they were somewhere, and they saw these like balls of light, and they were kind of all floating. I'm like, yo, if I saw that firsthand, I'd be freaked out. I'm like, okay, I need to get out of the ship.
To see that. Well, that's
I
the
need
thing.
to get out of the ship right now.
I'm already not really a skeptic of UAPs anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like, okay, they exist, but they're obviously highly protected.
Yeah.
But dude, let me see one. I just want to see one. Like, just make it loud over here. In the Everett, Washington area. Like, let us see one. We have a Navy base here, so if you want to, get the Navy involved and give them some photo ops or whatever, let them have it. But man, let us have some UAPs up in here. That would be just. That would. Now, I do work with somebody who did say and showed me a picture, and of course it's a picture where it was all blurry, it was just this white blur, but he said, I saw a UFO. I saw it and I took a picture of it, but this is all I could get. And he knew how unbelievable it would be for me to see that. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that too. Take a picture of a light and just move it. But he was he was convinced that that's what he saw, and he's just like, yeah, this was enough for me to take a picture. But you don't know who. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I want to see it with my own eyes. I want to see it.
For sure, man. No, man, but that's kind of what I had on that subject today. Just it's something that I found out new today, kind of just listening to some stuff, and I wanted to share it out. And I know I actually posted a poster on our Instagram page where you can find us at the Tip Tick Podcast on Instagram. Okay, so what's funny is, obviously when Bob came on Bob Lazar came on the podcast on the Joe Rogan podcast, I was just, I don't know, somehow I came across it and I saw that he had his website, which I think he's now located in Oregon now. He actually lives in Oregon now. He has a spot there where he sells like, I guess, like some like stuff for like science studies or something like that. Okay. That's what he does, right?
Yeah.
And he was just selling a poster of a sketch of what he made of how the sports model, he dubbed it the sports model, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it just gives a brief explanation of kind of like everything, how everything works, what's in there, just giving a brief synopsis of kind of this whole thing. I want to buy that fucking poster. Just because, like,
I thought you did.
I did buy it. No, I had it.
Okay. Oh.
I did. I was like, I think I'm, that's what I said at the time, right?
Okay,
I think I'm going to buy this poster. And I bought it, and he signed it, and he just said, to Eduardo, just remember to look up at the stars. They're out there. Something like that. He wrote something on there, and I was just like, either way, like, let's say he comes out to be a fucking liar. I mean, he sold a fucking solid story. But I mean, I'm more leaning towards I think he did see something that at that time, he had no clue what the fuck it was.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Tom DeLonge? Is that how you say his name?
Tom DeLonge? He runs the To the Stars, like an academy or something like that, right?
Yeah. And like,
League 182
isn't the government using his information and his footage? Like that,
yeah.
So, people were trying to disparage him too, like everything that he was doing. Even I was like, man, his records weren't selling, and this is his next thing. But apparently, like, this has been one of his things for a long time, even when he was with the band. And even within the band, it sounded like they were having some issues with him, but he just it was one of those things that he was sold on it, line, hook, and sinker. And he's apparently talked to some real people. He has real evidence that the government themselves have used So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like, it's almost like this new thing is happening, this new research. And, in large part, it was because of people like Bob Lazar that came out and was brave enough to speak, brave enough to endure everything that he went through.
Yeah.
He lost a marriage through all this. He lost a lot of stuff, a lot of,
Yeah.
credibility, and the government made his life extremely hard, but he stuck with it. And then look at what it has done. He's brought a lot of people out as well that have contributed to the UAP community.
Definitely. No, yeah. But with your initial question of Tom DeLonge, yeah, I think he's doing something out there to really kind of just put the focus on just whatever it is that they're doing or whatever it is we're seeing. He's putting a lot of focus on that. And he actually, Commander Fravor even said he has some legit people in his circle, and he's actually doing some good work in finding out what these things are and seeing what, how this technology works. So
what a hell of a time to be living, huh?
Oh, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's one hell of a crazy time. And like to see like where there's more legitimacy now to where like with what these things are. I mean, dude, I'm only waiting to see like where we finally see whatever the fuck this thing's flying and how it works and all that fully explained. So we'd be like, Bob was saying the truth the whole time.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. That's, man, I'm going to see if Amazon sells Element 115. I'm going to see if I can figure this out.
Dude, you'll be floating on the next episode. You'll be hovering like, whoa.
Hey, watch me. Hey, I'm going to get some more of this. This is pretty good.
Like, Brett, you're not supposed to drink it, man.
Yeah. I've had diarrhea, but it floats. Looks like the astronauts, when they try to drink water in the spaceships or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you're a flat earther and you don't think that.
Oh, dude, speaking of that, we might have something special for you guys in regards to what he just said. We'll see conflicts in schedules because obviously, we have our thing we do on a normal basis on the regular weekday and weekends as well. So
I think we should put it to the audience too. Are you guys interested in hearing us talk with a flat earther? A flat earther, someone who really, really believes that they can prove to not just Eddie and I, but to you, the audience, that this earth is flat and has the scientific data to prove it. Yeah. I had an encounter with a flat earther this last week. And and I was just like, this is wild having this conversation, knowing in the back of my head that I could be having this conversation.
Like you actually had to pull your shades on, like, are you being real?
Is this like, real right
intrigue
now?
Intrigue me. No, but yeah, that way we'll let it be on the audience hands, and we'll make a clip of this. Would you lovely listeners and viewers want to see an episode in regards to just the theory of I'm just saying a theory because like I said, I never really heard about it like described or like being described like in facts and statistics and just show me like why you think the earth is flat.
Yeah.
Because I never really looked into it myself. See what I'm saying?
Why do you think that that humans have never actually left Earth?
Yeah.
Why do you think there's an ice wall that surprise, So there's a lot of questions,
So we'll let the audience pick that for us. We'll put a little poll. We'll make this in the clip. Do you lovely viewers, listeners want to see that? Let us know. And we'll make a clip of it. Yeah. And let us know. I mean, we'll let you steer the ship and just choose our destiny on this one. But yeah, man, other than that, Brett, I mean, that's all I had for today on that note of the Bob Lazar.
I think you knocked it out of the park, man. No,
yeah, man. I try to prepare, just to get the facts out there and just kind of, provide people to just a chance to really digest it and just think to themselves, like, what's your opinion on that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whoa. So, oh shit.
Are you getting rated?
Oh, dude, I know. I think I am getting rated. No, I'm good. Oh shit, one of my power outlet dropped on my foot. I had it underneath my my desk and hit my foot, and it freaked me out. I think I almost pissed my pants.
I thought you were getting rated. I was about to run up into your crib.
I know, right? You see the FBI just fucking grabbing me. No, we're good. So we're gonna we're gonna make our exit here. And,
yeah, baby.
Obviously, catch us on our Instagram page at the Ticklish Podcast. Follow us on there as well. Go check us out on YouTube. You can see all our videos to our past previous episodes. And then you can find us also on the audio side, as in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Just Google us. Make it easy for yourself. And you can find us there. So we'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Stay safe out there. Peace.
Woo.